All right, folks, welcome to one of our Springboard Zoom calls. Our first one here. We've got Tiffany on the road at the theater.
I
Our
am on the
first,
road. I
yeah,
am on the road.
yeah, exactly. And so the idea of this, we kind of did this, got it together at the very last minute, but we are recording this, so most of you will be watching this after the fact. Uh, but this is something we're going to be doing now. We're basically, I think, since nobody's here, we're got a low attendance. I think what I'll do, Tiffany, is start kind of giving these guys a sneak peek of the email that's going to go out soon. So what I'll do is maybe present kind of what we're doing with We Get and Springboard and all of that stuff, and then we will go right into what you and I are doing, and then maybe at the end, after you do your stuff, I'll go ahead. I've got the merch tracker too, and
Okay.
so I can present that thing, and you can sneak off to the other stuff you got to do.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to share first. So, Ron, you guys seeing the screen pretty good?
Yep.
Excellent. So basically, you guys are here for the first of kind of a reinvention or a reimagining of what we're doing with Springboard, Sustainable Artist, and We Get Networking. A lot of you guys, there are people that are on this that are members. Anybody that was a member of any one of these things, if you've ever been a Springboard person, or if you've ever been a member of We Get Networking or Sustainable Artist, you're all being grouped into the same thing now. And so where this is about, kind of an early thing, we might do some tweaks on it. But the idea is by joining all of these organizations together, we can do a lot more for a lot more people. And we're going to kind of move to a little bit of a subscription model, but we want to make sure it's just something enough to consistently cover our costs. Everybody here is volunteering for free. Nobody's getting paid, but it does end up, costing somebody something, me and my brother mostly. But anyway, so this is the kind of the idea of what we're doing. Does it look better when I blow it up like this?
That looks good.
Okay, great. So this is, these are the three organizations that we're kind of putting together. If you don't know what each one of these guys are, Springboard basically is we're putting opportunities for artists to go to concerts and showcases and to be really more of an industry kind of thing. We do a festival, but it's really not about the 200 people at the front of the stage. It's the 5 people in the back with their arms folded. That's who you're really playing for. And then We Get Networking. We've had that for a number of years, and we've been just kind of building up communities in different places. We've got over 800 members in Houston. We got 200 in Austin. So we're building these up, and just kind of it's music business networking. And what we're going to do by joining all these things together and throwing a little bit of my company, we're going to go global with that. So the ability to, on a networking group, yes, we'll have local events and things in every city, but there'll also be Zoom calls where you can meet, like Ron and I are in a group of people, music industry people that are around the world, and we'll have our little meeting, and it'll be, the guy that discovered Nickelback in Canada, and QFX, a big remix guy over in, he's Scottish, but he lives in Czechoslovakia. Like we do, you really get a chance to meet a lot of great people. And then obviously Sustainable Artists, we got together 12 years ago to start putting together ways to teach artists how to make a living. And that's part of what we're doing with having Tiffany here. Is one of the things these artists need to learn is how to make their merch, pay off for them. So this is basically what we're doing. We're joining everybody together, so we can do more and help more people. And these are going to be the kind of different things. The stuff on the left is the only thing that's important. We're going to have a free version that people can come to. They can go to one of our boot camps and see what that's like. They can go to the networking events. They get a monthly newsletter and 2 of these Zoom calls per month. And then for the people that are really trying to do it for a living, we're going to have a subscription model for only $10 a month. But that means they can go and bring a friend to 2 different Springboard events, go to all the networking things, but also we'll have opportunities for performances, the ability to be on playlists and radio stations, all kinds of these things. And at the end of 12 months, if you think you didn't get the value of 2 cappuccinos a month, we'll give you your money back. We're not trying to rip anybody off. We're just trying to pay for being good guys. And so this is kind of the same stuff kind of broken down and bigger. But the other thing too is we now, for the first time, and that was in the email that blasted out to the networking group, we have 4 springboards on the books. So now you can already plan on when you'd like to go. If you want to go to those events, they're going to be filling up. Melinda, who's on here, she's heading up Springboard South, helping me with East. We've got Springboard Texas on the books already, and we're in the final stuff for Springboard West. So it's all going to be, it's good. This is going to enable us to be this active. The other thing we're going to talk about, we won't talk about it much here, but my company we're building community radio stations in retail stores, and a bunch of the Springboard artists are already on the Uptown Beauty radio station here in Houston. And so they have 16 locations with a foot traffic of 250,000 people per month. So we're already putting Springboard artists on that, and we're going to have opportunities for artists with our networking group to be put on these radio stations and generate money. At the beginning, it's promotion, but this thing will shift into revenue generating within 90 days. So they'll start making money for being on a radio station. And then Tiffany, who this is her brainchild, the Katie concert series. And so she's set up, and tomorrow we do the kickoff one. I'm going to be there, and anybody that's in Houston, come on down. But this is part of the opportunities is we're going in and putting 3 to 4 bands in all these clubs and showcasing them for future gigs at that stuff. Some of them pay a stipend. We'll try to get more money as it goes. But the idea is to play a gig to get a gig. And we've got, Clay's Restaurant. We've got Midpoint Eatery. We've got Toddy Oaks Family Brewing Company, No Label Brewing, and Katie Vibes. So we've got places in one area of Houston, and we're going to be putting artists there. We'll do events there one day a month for each one of these venues, and we're putting 3 to 4 bands there. So we got 56 performance slots that are, if they aren't already filled up, they're pretty close to it. But if this works, we'll expand this out to other cities and other areas. And so these are the first group of people that are already getting lined up to do this. And so you can get an idea. So this will all be part of it. And this is one of the things we're going to do for the pro members, is to be able to offer them other gigs. We've got a thing for Loudfest in New Orleans. We've got a stage or 2 that we might be doing. So things like that, so we can really make some noise with it. And so that's kind of the whole thing. And then, ladies and gentlemen, why are we here today? Who is that? Oh my Lord! Is this
That
first
was
time?
a long time ago.
Is that the first time you've seen the promo?
Yeah. I was like, wow. That was like, I don't know, like 2020, I think. I don't know. A few years ago.
Nah, yeah. You're still that cute.
A few less springboards ago, I'll say that.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, so let's get on to this. We're taping this right now, so people, anybody that's not here now is not going to miss it. We definitely want to know who that happy girl is out there shopping on the right-hand side,
Yeah, well, that was New York. That was great. That was a good time. That was another event that I did that, I set up a whole bunch of merch for a big Fortune 500 company, and I got a little break, so I went down to Times Square.
There you go. So do you need to take the screen over, or are you going to talk, or how are we going to do this?
No, you can just leave it. I'm not going to take any screen over because I'm not that put together, Barry. I didn't make a presentation like you, right?
Well, that's fantastic. Well, I will do the spreadsheet part at the end. So we'll just leave this up and let you start. Let's start talking about merch, because we've got one of the things we're doing with the summer concert series is that we will have a merch table at all of these venues. So not only are they kind of auditioning and showcasing for the bookers at the club and everything like that, they're also able to sell their merch.
Right.
So let's go ahead.
I say plus the idea is, because this is more like a showcase series for Katie, is that the pay if any, is minimal. I mean, obviously, it's not where the bands deserve to be paid for a Friday or a Saturday night gig, but this is a showcase. And so this is just show off. And so if they really want to have the opportunity to make money during any of these showcases, the merch is where they're going to make up the difference between what they would traditionally get paid. And you know, if they do gigs at like a restaurant, most of the time they're not gonna be able to sell merch. So this is like a different opportunity where they can make a little extra money, and kind of test their skills with like a merch table and what sells and what doesn't sell.
And we have a few other ones too, like Toddy Oaks. That we're going to test a $10 ticket, and the bands get to keep the ticket money.
Right.
And you know, and so that those are, you know, we're really experimenting. That's one of the things that by doing what we're doing, we're going to be able to take some risks and do some stuff and just see what works, you know, because right now we're under assault and it's difficult for bands to make a living, and we're here to fix that.
Right. But I think that on the good side of it is that with all the AI stuff that's coming out right now, people are really going to start looking for live music. And the merch table is going to be like a huge success part of the band's live music because they're going to want to buy something from that person they saw live. People are not going to know if it's an AI that generated the music or if it's an actual artist that, you know, living, breathing artist that generated the music. So I really truly believe that live music is going to just be so strong in the future. The stronger AI gets, the more people are going to want to see concerts and meet fans and buy their merch. So
yeah, you can't, you know, AI artists can't go over and shake your hand and sign your
right.
t-shirt, you know?
Right. It may sound good on Spotify, but that's about all they got.
All right, so we've got some guys. So in a lightning round, we got 30 minutes. You're going to tell them everything that they need to have on their merch table.
Wow.
So you see this stuff, like if you had to say lions and tigers and bears, as somebody who works in the merch area, what are the three biggest sellers on average that you see at a merch table?
Like I tell everybody all the time, t-shirt is king. Always. T-shirts are always going to be number one, no matter what. No matter who tells you different, t-shirts are always going to be the biggest selling point on every merch table. The price point can vary significantly based on cheap t-shirts or the soft style, but always t-shirts. Those are the number one items. Then you're going to want to have some kind of a mid-tier. Of course, hats sell really good at a number two, but they're typically more expensive than a t-shirt, depending on the brand of hat that you have and the style. So I would say do a mid-tier, maybe like a koozie, a keychain, something that's a hard item that they can keep for a long period of time. As your mid-tier product, inexpensive to make, easy to sell, everybody uses them all the time. And then you're going to want like a third tier, which I would say would be like a sticker. You know, maybe an autograph 5x7, something that you can sell for a low dollar price point, just to keep attention at your table and to keep getting people to follow you on Instagram and remember you all the time.
Well, the other thing too is, so I've been working with a lot of bands, and CDs are kind of back. Not because they can play them, but because you can get them down. So I've been doing a lot of those things. If you get enough CDs, you can get the price point down to ridiculous. You know, I think we just did one. I think it was for 1,000 CDs. Let me see. I'm trying to think. For 200 or 300 CDs, I got it down to a couple bucks, $2 to $3 a piece. We did 2,500, and this has been a while ago, we got it down to 89 cents a piece. So one of the things at the end I'm going to show you is you could do bundling. You can do a t-shirt and a CD, you know, for 20 bucks. It looks like one heck of a deal. And the t-shirt only cost you whatever, but the CD cost you $1. Your profit margin's really in the CD that nobody can play. You know, the other thing too,
fan favorite bundles.
Well, and there's a high-end bundle. We're going to be testing a thing for a record launch party where they're going to include a vinyl record, a CD, and a T-shirt commemorating the launch party, and they're going to give a percentage to a nonprofit, and they're going to make that complete bundle be $100. I mean, they've got a pretty bougie crowd that's coming over there, but think about 200 people at $100. Did you just make 20 grand in one night? Their whole merch table for the year is 12. So they just paid for all the other things and, put another 8 grand in their pocket.
Right.
So vinyl,
That
you can get it down a really nice vinyl package, and if you do enough of them, even 200, you can get the price point down to around $15.
right. And the good thing about vinyl is if you have a really nice pin, you can just sign it right there when you're meeting the people as they buy it, and then it becomes like a double, item that they're going to keep forever. So they have the vinyl and then they have your autograph. Like you never know where you're going to become in the future. So people keep it.
Well, one of the other tricks that we've got too is with one of the artists that we're doing. They sent the printing of the vinyl over to the artist's house. She signed and numbered all of 500 of them, then sent them back to the place, and they put the record in and shrink wrapped it. So now 40% of every vinyl record sold is sold to someone who doesn't have a record player. And now you got a shrink wrapped, autographed, limited edition. I'm thinking for anybody's thing, maybe that is $100. Like in the stores, it's 20, 30, $40 for a vinyl. I would say, at an event, get them for 50 if you can, whatever your price point is. But those things too, and the CD with bundling, like you could do a coffee mug and a CD. Once you get the CDs down to that price point, one of the things we're finding too is that a lot of the old school radio and media people, they're going, give me a physical copy. When you do press and PR, they want a physical copy, So we've been doing them with and without barcodes. So we've got, I don't know if you guys can see this, probably not, but we've got an artist where we did the CD and all of the single artwork, here we go. All the single artwork is on the back, and then we've got the inside, the whole thing flops out. And these digipacks, man, they're really effective. This one we didn't put a barcode, but you can put one to put it into retail, depending on what you want. When you're talking about these items, so T-shirts, give us, everybody knows T-shirts, but you deal with big bulk things, and you've got access to China. Any kind of crazy knickknack I want, I can call Tiffany and get.
Yeah.
Pretty
much.
Yeah. So I'm thinking that and T-shirts, do we sell them by the dozen? Is that the normal way?
So the T-shirt is the inexpensive cost. The cost is the printing. So
Really?
yeah, the T-shirt you can get for very cheap, $2, $1.50.
What about a really nice T-shirt? One of those really
Even if
great.
you got like a really nice Bella Canvas soft style T-shirt, typically in the store they're going to range about $12. Through China or any distributor, like it's the same thing that I do. They're going to range probably between $4 and $6 for a really nice soft T-shirt.
And then the printing. What's the printing cost now? Let's say I got the top of the line $6 shirt. What's the printing cost?
Your printing is going to range based on the size and based on how many locations you want. So say if you're doing a festival shirt and on the back of it, maybe you want to put your tour dates. Yep. Anybody who saw the Springboard T-shirts that we made, we had a print on the front and then we had the print on the back. So that's a 2-print location. That's probably going to run you about $10 typically, depending on the size of the print. If you just had a small little chest print and then maybe a large back print, you could probably get away for another $6. Either way, all in, you're going to be able to walk away with your T-shirts between $10 and $12 total costs.
So $10 and $12, but again, then you got to sell them for 20 minimum.
20, 25. But I mean, that's for the really nice ones. Like if you want to start out and just want to have cheap T-shirts, get them for $1.50, get them for $2 or $2.50. Those are just heavy cotton. They're going to last forever. And people are going to wear them all the time. They will have them until you're either rich and famous or you've stopped playing. They're still going to have this T-shirt. The T-shirt and the print is going to last a decade, 2 decades, whatever it is. So that's fine with the heavy cotton. But it's just if you want a nicer merch item or you want a nicer shirt, a V-neck, maybe a crop top, something that's a little bit more fitted, that's going to cost you a little bit more. But cheaper ones, $8, $6 is your total cost, and you still sell them for $15.
Yeah, well, there you go. And so that gives the other thing that we find too is, boy, 20 is a really nice price point because if they do have cash, you don't have to deal
Yeah.
with change.
If you buy more quantity, so I mean it's hard as a new artist to be able to buy like a large quantity because nobody wants to take the small investment they got. If they just got paid out $500, nobody wants to take that $500 and tell all their bandmates we're going to invest this right back into the band and buy $500 of t-shirts. That is a hard choice to make, I think, as a starting out band. So that's where your price points are going to make a big difference. Like you're going to be a little bit more expensive and make much less of a profit in the beginning. But as you start turning profit on that merch and you have the ability to start purchasing larger items, larger quantity items, that's when you're going to start really seeing big profits. And as long as they do not change their logo, which I've seen so many times, that's the biggest mistake I can say. They just need to find a logo and stick with it because that is where all the costs come from. When they start changing logos, all those previous shirts are not valid anymore. All the fan stuff they sold is invalid. Find a logo, stick with it, and just maintain that logo throughout the entire career. And that's where they're going to start making a lot of money on them.
There you go. And also, too, you can have, holiday shirts, these kind of event shirts.
Right.
So, again, if you did, let's call it a $12 shirt. That's a pretty good shirt and print, right?
Very typical. Yeah, very typical.
So that's your idea of nice shirt and small in the front, bigger in the back, double printing.
Double printing or a full chest print if they want to do that. But either way, $12 is a really good basic price point for a cost of a shirt.
Okay, great. And then we've already talked about CDs and vinyl. If I'm doing stickers are a big thing, what's a roll of stickers cost?
Those are very cheap. It kind of depends on how you want to do it. So there's a couple different ways. If you just want to have like a basic sticker that's just cut in a square or a circle, you could probably get 500 for a quarter a piece. Really small, very cheap. It's when you want to do something die cut. So maybe you want to put it in your specific logo and the sticker will be die cut. They might run you 50 to 80 cents each, but still very cheap. Turn around and sell it between $3 and $5. That's a huge profit.
Ron, what did you pay your fancy one? Do you remember what you paid for that? Because you have a real weird one. You're muted.
Yeah, I'm not used to being muted. Yeah, my die cut one that's been probably a year or so ago. Not sure. It was really cheap. But like I say, it was my logo in a die cut form and great giveaways and stuff. And I made it specifically, it was probably about 6 inches long. And I made it specifically so it would go on guitar cases and amp cases and stuff like that. Along with all the other places that artists are putting stickers on the cases where they've been and people they've seen and stuff like that. So it's worked out real good that way. But they were really cheap. But die cast was a little more than squares or circles.
Yeah.
And I've got a rectangle logo sticker that's like she said about a quarter a piece, something like that. And those are cheap. But the die cast one really is the one that catches attention.
Right.
Is there?
And you can those die cuts and make them into magnets as well. You can ask the printer to put it on magnet paper instead of on sticker paper. It may cost you 10 cents additional, but then people can put it everywhere on their cars, refrigerator. If they, have a kegerator or anything that has metal, they can literally just put your magnet everywhere, which I think is a nice selling point too. And you can sell them for $1 extra than the stickers.
And I got a question. I see those little kind of drawstring backpack things? They're like cloth, but they're real. Yeah. How cheap can you get one of those?
$2. Very cheap.
So one of the things that Uncle Rhino, one of our Springboard speakers, did, he used to have a band, and their logo was a crow, and they had the Dirty Birdie 30.
Right.
And so they had one of those packs, and there we go. There's Ron showing his off. Excellent. Nice. Yeah, there we go.
That's a nice big sticker too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I watched. I don't want to say anything, but I watched him putting them up all over Memphis. I'm not gonna.
They're on light poles junction boxes, just
Yeah,
everywhere.
yeah,
Yeah, a restroom, it doesn't matter.
yeah. The restroom for a good time. Call Ron.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, uh, those like with one of the things too is a bundling thing, which I'm going to talk about in a minute. I've got a spreadsheet that I'm going to make available to all of our people, and it's something I did with my business manager, and it's got bundling and everything. It's a single spreadsheet. You can put all your merch in, and then as you sell it, it keeps track of your profit margin and what you're out of. You know how you're doing in terms of your total sales, but it also creates a where your profits are. It's got a complete running tab. So all you gotta do is, hey, put in what you did now, and you'll be able to see where you're at profit wise. And basically, it's over the course of a year. If you spend 12 grand in merch and you sell this, and this includes vinyl and coffee mugs and hoodies and all this different kind of diverse and some expensive merch, you know. At the end of the day, when you sell that, you get your hard costs back and make $32,000 in profit. And it's not, I'm talking, it's like 250 t-shirts. It's not huge numbers that we're talking about. You know, I got the numbers. The other thing too, when you're doing a t-shirt, somebody leaked out all the numbers, and black t-shirt, by far, if you get anything besides black, probably a huge mistake. It goes black, white, tan, right? After that, good luck.
I mean, the only way I would say if you were to do a different color t-shirt, it has to be something that your band is already known for. Like if you're the Sunshine Band and your logo is like bright yellow and all the band wears a bright yellow t-shirt with rainbows or whatever it is, I mean, then I would realistically say sell the shirt that matches your brand. But for 99% of other bands, yes, black and white, maybe like a heather gray, something very simple.
Yep. Yeah. And so that's one of the things. The other thing too is the average major, I'll give you, because I'm the stat guy. The average major label touring artist has 16 merch items. However, the top 3 items get 63% of their money. So your big thing while you're starting out is to build out your merch table and have all the different price points. Like you notice how Tiffany said, hey, this is your high end, there's your medium. The other thing you can do too is for a super high end item, call this, you need one drunk guy who wants to impress a girl kind of thing. You can get an old beat up guitar, have everybody in the band sign it, auction it off for a good cause, or have it there and say, hey, this is money to go help, the Red Cross or AIDS Project Los Angeles or whatever it is. And it's going for $250. And you just bought like a pawn shop guitar and all this stuff. Well, suddenly, maybe you bought it for $50. You could make $200 and you sign another one for next month. There was a band in Canada that they would sell the opportunity. They were a 5-piece band, and their deal was for $50 you could have a beer with the band. And so they get whatever the local beer was, and at the end of the show, if you won that auction item or whatever, or you did that, they would get the local thing. Everybody in the band take one beer and one for the guest who bought it.
And you know that beer was comped by the venue, so it didn't actually cost the band anything.
Well, or we could No Label Brewery. Don't tell me we can't pull off something with those guys.
Definitely. And they'd probably even throw in free cups for everybody too.
Yep. Beer with the band, and again, that's what we're trying to do that's part of this is to try to do experiments to build an audience. And again, anytime you sell merch, they're wearing your brand. You're out there traveling. People are seeing your name out in the world. You have human walking billboards. It's the hamburger, sign kind of, and except it's your band on it. Somebody did something recently. It was Maddie and Colton, and they had a Springboard shirt on, and they were working with Tom Jackson out of Nashville, who's a performance coach, and he goes, I know Springboard, because he's spoken and done panels and stuff there. So he's in Houston right now, so they're working with him because they happen to be wearing a shirt, and it reminded them of the whole deal. So it's surprising what this stuff can do.
Yep, always. The other thing that I would say, because you were kind of talking about, selling the $50 price point for beer with the band.
Yep.
I think there's something that bands seriously lose value in is that so many times as soon as a band is in with a set, they immediately like go back to the green room. Or they leave the stage instead of the first thing that they need to do when they get off the stage, all sweaty and all, is grab their bottle of water and go right to the merch table.
Yep.
All the fans want to meet you. And right now they're super excited about your set. All they want to do is see you, hear your story, shake your hand. That is where you're going to sell the most merch. It's in that 30-minute segment right after you get off the stage.
Yeah, you do not take a break.
After that, another band is already taking the stage or whatever, and they're going to forget you. But you have that 30-minute window, and that is invaluable time to sell merch.
And then, is there a company that builds like wrap up merch tables and things like that you can have it all in a box and flips up and stuff like that?
There is. There actually is these big. I have a few of them. They are syllable tubs. I don't even know how to describe them. There's a lot of companies that build them. They're fairly inexpensive, but you could have your table in there. You could have your whole back wall plus a pull out like stand that you could put your t-shirts in, little trays for your stickers, and it all goes into this one hard plastic shell. Looks like a large hard guitar case, I guess, is kind of what it looks like. And it snaps together and it's on wheels and you just take it with you wherever you go. Very easy to set up. It does probably have a little bit of an expense in the beginning, but it's worth every penny. You're never going to forget. You can see your inventory right away as long as you put everything back in there and you keep up with your spreadsheet. And it's, it's compact. It's
How
not
much does that cost?
I would say to start out with everything, not including the merch, you're looking at probably $300 probably.
Yep.
For the whole display. Once you start adding the merch in there, it's a little bit more expensive, but realistically, you could have the whole kit plus the canopy if you were doing like outdoor stuff for under $1,000 for sure.
There you go. But again, this is the place, it's like the old saying in the music business, the show money is yo money.
Yep.
That's the thing you want is you need to, one thing, if people ask, how can you guarantee you're in the music business? If you can sell what they call a hard ticket, if people are going to pay $5 or $10 to see you, you're in the music business, whether anybody wants you to be or not. Because between selling merch, doing all these other things, you can sell a hard ticket and you can prove that you're in the music business and nobody can take it away from you. Like I made my living for 6 years playing 5-6 nights a week in bars. And if I'd had Tiffany, I'd have been a lot richer. If I'd have known, if I didn't do anything with merch, I was terrible. But
if I had a band, I'd have been a lot richer. Right.
I could have hooked you up, man. We could have hooked up. What happened? So I know you're about to go into your other event. Is there anything else in parting? Anything else you want to do? And then I'm going to jump on and show everybody the spreadsheet. Any last thoughts about merch and survival for the summer?
Summer survival. Yes. I don't know. I just hope that this thing goes really well. And I really feel like that we're on the brink of something great. And this is like ground zero. This is the test ground that is going to show the artists what they're capable of doing further on without Springboard as a platform, without being able to rely on somebody booking events and showcasing. I think if they can get this all together and they can get some merch, just a little bit of merch, even to start, I would recommend just maybe spend, $100, get some t-shirts, make sure that, and some stickers, make sure that you're at the merch table at each of these concerts that you're doing throughout the summer. It's going to really test your ability. And then once you start seeing that profit come back and you start seeing your email list build up with clients and people start showing up at different events and following you on Instagram, I think that this is going to show up for all these bands to be very successful by the fall.
Great. And so in keeping with that, can people reach out to you? You have a company that does this, correct?
I do have a company.
Oh, my goodness. So I might just send it out in an email. with your contact information, if that was okay.
Yeah, go ahead. And if I can't help them, because I'm fairly busy. I mean, Barry, you keep me really busy, but I am also busy with a lot of other clients and things that I have right now. But if I can't help you, I have lots of colleagues that will gladly help you. I know tons of printers just in the Houston area. So if they want to keep it local, and they want to help work with designs, I have designers, I have everybody that if they just reach out to me, I will guide them in the correct direction and I will get them to the person that is the best person for them, that's going to give them the best price because I'm going to tell them they have to, and it's going to give them the most success.
Well, there you go. That sounds like a plan.
Yeah.
All right. Well, everybody say bye, Tiffany. Thanks,
Bye.
Tiffany.
Bye.
All right. Good job. All right. So now I'm going to go and do the last part of our thing, which is the business part. All right. Got that. But that whole pack, I can't tell you the merch stuff. That's going to be very, very exciting. So I had mentioned that there was a merch tracker thing that membership has its privileges. Let me blow this up. But this is, how's this looking, Ron? Is it pretty good?
Yeah, that's nice.
I'm going to see if I can blow it up bigger. But it's
yeah, that's what she said.
This
that looks good.
I'm going to get it a little bit. I think I can get it a little bit bigger if I do this, and then is it going to let me go up or not? Okay, guess not. All right. Whoop, right there. All right, let's see how that looks. My view, full screen. Not much better. Is it okay or not?
You want it back smaller?
Okay.
Better before.
How about that?
That's better.
Okay.
There.
Yeah, so this is our merch tracker. And what I have here is what I talked about. This is it's part of my thing called Be Your Own Backer. My son had a band and we used to do these countdown concerts at a club, and we'd have, the club wasn't open until 5 p.m. So we went in from noon to 5 and had a bunch of hardcore metal bands, young, high school age rock bands. And it was all ages because they had a restaurant so they could bring their little brothers, sisters, grandmas during the day on a Saturday. And we called it Rock Before Dark. And so we did this stuff, and he would book other bands, and then they would chip in basically the ticket sales. They would pay for the sound man that they needed, and let me do this, see if I look a little better. Yeah. And it would also, they were able to sell their own merch. And this table here is basically, at the end of the year, if you sell 288 t-shirts, 120 hoodies, 360, bundles of a t-shirt and a CD, maybe you sell 120 coffee mugs and a CD, 144 CDs on their own, and then the vinyl, you do 200 vinyl. So it's a pretty, and then you can throw on stickers and little things there. But you're talking about, your total black, t-shirts are under 300, 120 on the hoodies, 360 of the bundled t-shirts and things. But you put it all together, the hard cost of the merch was $12,344 over the course of the year. But the profit margin's $32,000. And with this spreadsheet, any number that you change, and again, I broke it down here into, you think like, oh, we could afford that. That'll never happen. I mean, you can buy things in a rolling manner like Tiffany talked about. But in January, if you sell 24 t-shirts at $25, and your cost per unit is $7. You're bringing in $432 on that. And so you're able to sit there and go, hey, you can do all these things. And if you want to change it, so let's say, like what Tiffany said, let's say that it's a $12 shirt. You went really super sexy, Here, I got to move this so it'll move. Didn't like that. Well, that I did wrong. Not $712 a shirt. But basically, if it's $12 a shirt and you're selling for $25, you're still pulling in $312, and you've got a 50% profit margin. And so with this thing, all you do is change the numbers, and you can at the end of the day, this category O in the blue, that is the percentage of your total sales. So at any given time, all you got to do is take this sheet, fill it out, and say, I sold this many, I sold that many. Like I've got it, if you want to go, here's the blank one. Or I'll do 12 month, whatever. A little bit less. Oh, come on. Okay. There we go. On this one, we got, this is, got the blank one, where I just put in one shirt, kind of thing. But you can see where we go in here, we go, okay, let's take Tiffany's $12 and you sell them for 20. That means you're making $8 profit. And so you go, so what these are, the green is always running your total profit. So you got a t-shirt, and let's say you do what she says, and we've sold 20 of them. You're making it right there. You made $160 off your t-shirts. The bundling thing is set up that you could do, or like you do a hoodie. Oh, I'm doing a hoodie. Well, they're expensive. We're calling it $20 hard cost, but you sell them for 40. Well, you just sell 10 of those. Not going to be easy to do in the summer, is it? But still, you made $200. So at any given point when you're doing this, you could use this to project, where do I spend my merch? Where do I do these things? Vinyl, I put them as, hey, it's selling for 40, it costs you 15. And that's a pretty close to right thing. So you're making $25 per unit. And it isn't hard to kind of figure out what your profit margin is. And on this thing, I got 20 t-shirts, I got 10 hoodies. Let's say I'm going to sell, 20 CDs, and I'll sell 10 vinyl. And the coffee mug, let's see, the t-shirt and CD bundle, let's say I do really good with that, and I'm going to sell 20 of those. And then I've got the coffee mug thing. It can be a candle, it can be, anything that you can think of. But when you look at all those things, you're going, hey, we're doing pretty good on this. Let's see what it says. Why is it not doing this? Oh, why does it say -1? Well, it's supposed to be, I sold 20 of these. That's what got it wrong. Okay, so that modest thing that we're talking about, you can see here your monthly total profits. It's all the accounting stuff you need. You don't have to be an accountant. You just have to have this spreadsheet, and you fill it out. And so in January, you can look and say, hey, we made $1,500 profit on our merch. It's already set to take the cost out of it, and to say you're looking at your running profit, the whole time. So at the end of the day, you can say, hey, here's our total profit. We made $1,500, blah, blah, blah. Our hard cost, and this is after spending $1,000. So you spend $1,000, but you made $1,500 in profit. So this whole thing on one sheet gives you everything you need. You could say, oh, you have to do all these t-shirts, cost me $240. You got your total cost, like by just putting in the number of units and what you're doing, this thing will project your cost, project your break even, everything, all in one spreadsheet. And so we are going to provide that for anyone who would like it, you know. But this is part of what we want to do with Sustainable Artists and We Get Networking, is to give you these tools. And it's not just about a tool or a software. It's also people and knowledge. Putting it all together. This, I think, you know, this stuff combined, this, you know, watch the Zoom call, grab the spreadsheet, and then we'll hook you up with the direct contact, and you should be ready and not afraid. Like, we put this up in San Diego, and we got more people coming up and complimenting us. I've never seen so many artists thrilled at a spreadsheet as they were at this one. Like, I mean, you know, you think, hey, you need $32,000 in marketing money, and you go, yeah, well, I'll never be able to do that. Well, I beg to differ. Yeah, you will. Right, here's what it is, you know. And again, the T-shirts, you know, you move less than 300 T-shirts, you know, your total profit's $5,000. You know, you can if you're, that's not getting a great profit margin, you know. That's less than, you know, it's basically the $12 thing, slightly over the 50% mark, you know. But when you put all these things together and you look and see where you're selling it, you can have a good pulse on everything you're doing. Any questions, Ron or Melinda?
No, I like it.
I like the spreadsheet.
Yeah.
Going back to the conversation earlier, I was thinking about the colors of the T-shirts and such. One reason black is really popular is because black does not show sweat when you get photos taken.
Yep.
And then the other thing I was going to mention is knowing your audience, because different audiences favor different shades and different colors of clothes. So if you know who your audience is, you can create merch to cater to what they normally would wear every day.
Yeah, well, the black's also slimming, you know. It also makes you look a little skinnier, does this. Who doesn't look good in black, you know? Black, just when you look at the numbers, dwarfs everything else.
Yeah, and it makes sense. I'm just throwing it out there to know your audience.
Oh, yeah. No, there's always, and again, there's nothing we can talk about that there is an exception to. You know, but with this thing here, I think that this kind of information, again, that's why we're talking about a professional artist account. Like, this is not, if you want to do it for a hobby, this is not the place for you. I'm not saying it isn't going to be fun, but we're not doing this for a hobby. These are people that want to do it for a living. And so, and we're bringing in people that can help you do that, you know, that can advise you, you know, like John Thomas, who helped build this thing, was the tour accountant for the Eagles. You know, so it's like, you know, that's the kind of guys you want this kind of knowledge from. And so this has been kind of our first thing. I'm going to wrap this thing up, and but thank you guys for being there. And hey, Melinda. So we're going to be ready to you know, to do what we're doing, you know, and get ready to you know, join everything that we're doing, and we will see you guys. We're going to do another really great panel later this month, and we start the summer concert series if you're in Houston tomorrow at Clay's Restaurant. So we'll see you then. Be there or be square.
Boogie.